Scott and Rachel stroll along Scott's driveway. Graphic text title, Reclaiming Life Beyond a Group Home. Rachel.
Some lemon's nearly ready then. Nice.
Yeah, very good.
Rachel, friend and advocate, interviewed in Scott's backyard, and images of Scott working in Disability Day service.
So I met Scott in 2009, and that was because we began working together to create a food system in a Disability Day service. I knew that Scott had no living family.
Images of Judy, Scott's mum, and Judy and Scott.
And that he had been close to his mum Judy. However, she had passed away quite a few years before I met him. I know that Scott had lived in the disability group home system all of his adult life.
Images of Scott moving home with help from his friend, Pat.
Scott moved out in February this year, and he had been living in his group home for 27 years.
Friend and support worker, Pat, and images of Scott and Rachel's friendship.
Yeah, Rachel's role in Scotty's life is huge. And so Scotty first and foremost had a friend in Rachel, and then as Rachel began to get him to know him better, thought that, well, this fella, needs to live his life to the fullest, and then started to take on more administrative roles, unpaid mind you, to reach those goals.
Vision of Scott signing his rental lease, Rachel looking on and smiling.
Unreal.
Looking for and finding the house was a really big part of the move.
Vision of Scott and Rachel strolling along Scott's driveway.
So, finding a place where I was comfortable, that he would be safe. So we actually put a post on a local community Facebook group.
Screenshots of Facebook posts.
We asked the community if anybody knew of any rental properties. Scotty was really house proud, and he always paid his rent on time, and we had a lot of interest in the post, and he rented the first place he looked at.
Image of Scott seated in car with leased sticker on for rent sign in background. Vision of Scott unlocking his front door and entering his vacant home for the first time.
He's got some complex health issues, and having an individual team that work with him to support his better health has been really beneficial.
Kat, friend and support worker, interviewed in Scott's courtyard.
So I developed a relationship through work and through the farm, and as Scott has moved out of home, I've also moved into a home support role as well.
Image of Scott and Rachel smiling on farm, and vision of Kat supporting Scott with clothes washing. Pat.
Main role with Scotty is at his workplace.
Image of Pat supporting Scott tying down equipment to ute. Jody, friend and support worker, interviewed in front of Scott's garden.
When Scotty moved out, I became a tech mentor and helped him set up, Hey Google.
Vision of Scott operating Hey Google device. Rachel.
It wasn't until he was asked in his first NDIS meeting in March 2017, do you like living in the group home? He said, it's okay. And he was asked, would you like to live somewhere else? And he said, oh yeah.
Kat.
It was a comfortable home, but I suppose one thing that struck me was how small his room was. It was enough. It was big enough for a single bed and him to walk sideways around it, and not much else, not much storage. So And I know he did have to take his toiletries to and from the bathroom in a toiletry bag, because there was one bathroom between 5 housemates plus support workers.
Living in the same house for anyone for 24 years with no choice around where and who with can be tough.
Yeah, he liked the idea that he had a choice to do something different. That was really clear.
Vision of meeting between Rachel and Scott. Cat.
It's been life-changing for him.
Images of Scott playing drums at the footy with mates and his birthday banquet.
I've just seen him grow and become so much more interested in the world, his world. He enjoys getting involved in cooking, eating.
Vision of Cat supporting Scott to cook. Vision of Scott with clothes basket and washing dishes.
He loves doing his own washing and his own housework. He's very house proud. So he's really easy to support because he's doing things that he enjoys.
Vision of Scott and Pat playing darts.
And just generally happier and more motivated at work and in life. Yeah.
Jody.
Scotty's passion for tech is, it's unbelievable.
Vision of Scott and Jody exchanging mobile videos.
So yeah, he's texting, he's emailing, his literacy has gone shoom, right up. So with the new Mac.
Vision of Scott working on his Mac computer.
So he's getting access to a whole lot more information that he couldn't before, so tech is huge. We're building a flight simulator.
Vision of Jody supporting Scott with the flight simulator.
That's playback. And we're learning to fly using software that pilots use to learn to fly. So he's got a lot of skills. From my point of view, I didn't know Scott was into documentaries of politics. He buys a paper every weekend and.
Images of Scott reading newspaper in cafe and holding Venom, a political book. Pat.
Some of the benefits of Scotty living in his own home is like this simplest thing I can explain. He has a key to his own house.
Vision of Scott unlocking front door and entering his home.
He never had a key to his own house 25 years for probably regulation, right? What could happen? Now it's not what could happen, it's like what can he do?
Images of Scott jamming in garage and living room.
Oh, the changes in Scotty have been huge. He's become a hell of a lot more independent, showing that initiative and...
Images of Scott sewing, collecting mail, and using a pressure washer.
It's about knowing the right people to talk to.
Images of Pat and Scott holding his baby and Scott playing basketball.
And being able to access a community to then access someone or people that can help you.
I'm just happy because he's happy, because I see that he's waited a really long time.
I don't know where Scott would be without Rachel.
Vision in Scott's living room of Rachel talking to Scott with Jody in background.
Without family, he has no one to advocate for him. Rachel has been a friend and advocated for him all the way.
Images of Scott, Rachel, and celebrity gardener Costa Georgianis.
It's been beautiful to be a part of, beautiful to watch, and Scotty has just blossomed.
I think that he's blossomed since he's left because he's got, more friends to communicate with about his interests.
Images of Scott and his garden mates skylarking.
So if you have a goal to move out of a group home, you should go for it. And you will need to work really, really hard.
Images of Scott in pub with Pat, at basketball with Kat, gardening, and chilling with Rachel and Jody.
And you will have to get people on your side to help you understand that it's not the most difficult thing that you'll ever do in your life, but you will need support to do it. So whether that's from family or friends or advocates or workmates, you will need that.
Yeah, I think Scotty moving into his own home is, he's really reclaimed his life.
Montage of Scott's reclaimed life, out and about, at home, and with all his friends and supporters. Images of Scott and Rachel smiling in Scott's living room. Image of Scott and pilot in flight simulator. Graphic text with thanks to Scott Jordan, Rachel Bishop, Catherine Veligard, Patrick Turnbull, Joey Zutt, and Callum Rogers. This video was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Closing slide graphic text, produced by Belonging Matters for My Home My Way, www.myhomemyway.com.au. This video was part of the National Alliance of Capacity Building Organisations My Home My Way project. This video was funded by the Australian Government Department of Social Services. NACBO makes every effort to provide accurate and up-to-date material. However, information is subject to change and our material is for reference only. Logos, Belonging Matters, My Home My Way, and NACBO.